Hello everybody, Film Outing here. Today we'll be taking a look at the film Extinction. The story is about a man's relationship with his family starting to suffer when he has recurring nightmares about a destructive and unknown force. He must soon find the strength and courage to save his wife and two daughters when extraterrestrials launch a devastating attack on the planet. This movie stars Michael Pena as Peter, the father, the charming Lizzie Kaplan playing Alice, the mother, and also Mr. Luke Cage himself, Mike Coulter, as David. The story starts with Peter, peacefully going about his daily job and contemplating about life and how he and his family fits into the grand scheme of things.
You know your beautiful wife.
When suddenly, a strange white light appears in the sky, and when everybody is busy looking at it, it begins to attack people on the street. Well, damn. It was only just a dream. There was nothing to worry about.
Another nightmare?
It is revealed in the movie that Peter has been having these types of recurring nightmares for a while now, and it has seriously taken a toll on their family.
I'm worried about you, and so are the girls.
I can figure this out.
The end.
Monkey see, monkey do.
Monkey pee all over you.
That rhymes.
Knowing that his nightmares have been negatively impacting his family, the next morning, Peter promises to get off work early to take his family down to the pier to let loose a little. Alice then asks him when they should celebrate her promotion at work. He then settles on tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, let's do it tomorrow.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Beginning to forget what our friends look like.
Love ya.
You too.
Later that day, Peter seems to have another nightmare while working, seeing to have bloody red hands and viciously beating on another person. Being distracted, he destroys a piece of equipment on the job. His boss, Luke Cage, David, recommends that Peter should seek treatment and that he knows a clinic that can help him. Peter insists that he does not need it and asks to leave early today as he has plans for the night.
And they were telling me about this clinic that people go to for, sleeplessness and stress. I could get you the number. I'm just trying
No, it's just a little mistake.
While packing up the equipment before he leaves, Peter has yet another vision. In his vision, there are two people debating whether a group of life forms deserves rights and equality, leaving us to believe that they coexist with aliens in the future. While an extermination by the aliens are happening, Peter runs and finds Alice hiding in a room with troops approaching. When he wakes up from his episode, it is already way too late to go to the pier. While returning home, Peter purchases a telescope because of his visions of an alien race attacking from above. Later that night, Peter yet another nightmare/vision, but this time trying to make the audience believe that he and Alice is actually dead, leaving their two daughters to fend for themselves. When Peter wakes up, he stares at the number of the clinic that David gave him, deciding that he needs to get help for the sake of his family.
Something's coming.
What do you mean something's coming?
The lights. Yeah, up above.
At the clinic, Peter meets a man named Chris that is also talking about seeing lights and experiencing the same nightmares. Chris convinces Peter that he is not insane and does not need help. But more importantly, Peter now knows that something is coming, and he chooses not to have his mind and memory wiped. Later that day, during the party, Peter spends the whole night looking into the sky with his new telescope for signs of life, when suddenly falling lights rain from the sky, and before Alice can ask what it is, a huge supersonic boom knocks everybody on the floor. Peter and his friend Ray then rescues their respective daughter from a stuck elevator, as that is where they were hanging out. Wow, kids in the future sure are weird. Hearing some noises in the hallway, Peter decides to peek through the door and soon realizes that there are not only ships, but also ground troops already in the building with malicious intent. Yep, definitely close that door very slowly.
I feel like we should go to the factory.
After returning to Alice with Hannah, he suggests that they should head towards the factory because of a previous vision. While they barricaded the door, a troop just so happened to find a more convenient way in. After running away from the masked invader, they realize that their daughter Lucy is still under the table. And at this moment, we get our very first look at the invaders. Before the invader could further examine Lucy, Peter took a foreign weapon and tried to fire it, but was unsuccessful. Alice then attacked the masked invader with a telescope and got the best of him. As Peter's family once again reunites with Ray's family on the rooftop, seeing that the spaceship destroying other buildings with people in it, they opted to go down the building via a window washing lift. This idea proves to be disastrous as the lift was near breaking point as they re-entered the building at a different floor. Meanwhile, the masked invader seemed to have woken up and has a tracking device on his weapon, able to track down wherever Peter has taken it. Peter tries to reprogram the rifle as it has a biocode, meaning only the owner can fire it. During this time, a ship has spotted them and has opened fire, murdering Ray's whole family. In the hallway, Peter gets trapped by a ground troop and fixes the gun just in time to save his family. As Peter was entering the underground tunnel towards the factory, Alice was badly injured. She urges Peter to take care of the girls and leave without her, but he was having none of it. The masked invader from the house tracked Peter to their location, but he was ultimately bested by Peter with a rock. The masked invader took off his mask, revealing to actually be human. I wonder what's actually going on. Peter made the unknown man carry Alice to the base, where he was greeted with heavily armed troops, and his friend David.
You got one.
Alice, she's in really bad shape right now. She needs help right away.
Hey, Gurney, right now.
You'd be surprised what you're capable of.
Learning that the invaders are right above them, they opted to use an underground train, but Alice is currently immobile because of her injuries. The man, later known as Miles, suggests that he could save her.
Hey, I can help her. I can help her. I can help her, man. I can keep her going.
As Miles operates on Alice, the insides of Alice seems to not be human and somewhat electrical. Peter, confused, asked Miles what that is. Miles then explains to him that they are all in fact synthetic lives and not actually human, like Miles, and that all the humans were actually kicked off of Earth and seek refuge on Mars. A flashback reveals that the visions / nightmares Peter is having were not the future. In fact, it was the past that they have already lived and experienced.
Necessary.
Is it the military?
The temperature to start. Sweeps clean. No humans.
All right, everyone fall out. Head back
In
to
the
post.
flashbacks, Alice found 2 girls with their dead human parents and adopted them. And in the vision, it was led to believe that those dead humans were actually Alice and Peter. They all chose to have their memories wiped so that they can live a new life and a normal life as humans. As Alice wakes up, she remembers everything that has happened in the synthetic versus human warfare.
Dreams. It's the past. It's the past. The dream. The girls.
No, they're waiting for us. They're waiting for us.
Meanwhile, the synths are boarding the train. Lucy and Hannah would not leave without their parents, and David leaves an opening for Alice and Peter as they need to leave as soon as possible. Later, Peter and Alice catches up to the train and leave Miles with the humans chasing them. But with the weapon behind the train makes a light snack for the long journey, Peter and Alice are finally safely united with Lucy and Hannah. After all they've been through, finally together at last, behind them train tracks going back into the river, giving them a distant view of their battered city, before heading off into another underground safe house.
Keeps moving. Changing. Evolving. And so do we. I know who I am now. And I know my enemy. We're not that different. Maybe. If others can see that, we'll have a future after all.